Hi, welcome to the Twinsburg Mayor's Report. We've had a month off. Kathy's got all rejuvenated, and so have myself. Thanks for coming back over.
Thank you.
Hope you had a good July. Let's jump right into this. We're talking September, which means Twins Days is come and gone, and I know very successful number-wise and also weather-wise this past year.
Great weather, and we just had a wonderful turnout, almost 2,000 sets of twins. You know, again, the best part of that whole thing is that parade on Saturday morning. I think it was one of the largest parades that we've had in a long time, a lot of fun.
And we always try to do credit where credit's due. Tell us about some of the, I know there's a separate Twins Days committee, but there are a lot of people, volunteers, and within the city that do help out. Do you want to mention some?
Oh, it couldn't be done without the volunteers, that's for sure. We have organizations like the Boosters Club who runs Pepsi stands. We have some of our organizations volunteer to run the golf courts back and forth to shuttle people. Of course, our police, our fire, our service department, parks and recreation, people are out there all the time. And yes, the committee is awesome and they do a great job.
And how was the turnout as far as the research people? Did you have another batch of those people?
I know that we had research tents, but I don't have any final numbers on who participated or what kind of data they were looking for this time. But that will be coming shortly.
How do they keep this fresh, do you think? I mean, the theme is a good idea, changing
I really think the theme has really done a lot to rejuvenate that whole thing. The Twins seem to love having a theme, something that they can dress
and if
to.
nothing else for that parade that you're talking about, if they have something they can base on what they want to do as far as costume goes, it's got to be given a lot more push as far as being innovative.
Oh, absolutely. And it also seems that every year we get more and more press coverage. I know that's hard to believe. But we have lots of different magazines and press media out there talking to the Twins and taking pictures. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. I'm going to go, speaking of magazines, let's stay with us because I'm sure Twins Days is one of the reasons, or it's high on the list of something unique that always qualifies you for certain awards with different magazines. And this month we will talk about Money Magazine, his name, Twinsburg, number 38 out of what, 100?
Out of 50, we're in the top 50.
In the top 50 of America's best small towns, and that's, you know, right along the lines with you were number one in Cleveland Magazine a few years ago. This is nice when you do get this. This is publicity you don't even ask for, and you get it.
Right. We don't apply for CNN Money Magazine when they rank small cities. So we were just delighted. In the top 50, there was 3 Ohio cities, Mason, Twinsburg, and Solon. So congratulations to...
right next door, that's one.
Yeah. So we are just really, really pleased that they highlighted the things that we are very proud of in the city. One of them is job creation. Since Chrysler closed its doors in 2009, you know, we had
that long.
It has been that long. We had a couple really tough years there, but we're doing a great job bringing new industry, new jobs to the city. Of course, the medical sector has really helped out. So job growth, and the other thing that they noted, and I am especially proud of, is the 2,000 acres of city-owned open space. That's pretty amazing for any town to have 2,000 acres of open space that the city owns.
And that's still protected.
It is.
And that isn't going to be even, they won't lose that over the next few years.
No, that land is all protected, and some of it's under conservation easements. Of course, we have the agreement with Metro Park serving Summit County for the 900 acres in Liberty Park. And
when you receive some recognition like that from these national magazines / CNN, do you use that as one of your tools, marketing tools, when you're trying to bring business to town, that sort of thing? This is just another thing that's a nice bullet point to bring up.
Oh, absolutely. When people who are researching our area and our city in particular come and talk to us, and they talk about relocating or opening a business in Twinsburg, they ask, of course, all the regular questions about our services, our tax incentives, you know, what it's like doing business, the location. But when they come down to it, they always ask, what is it like to live in Twinsburg? They are really interested in what kind of school system we have, what kind of library system, what kind of recreational activities, because not just the business moves there, but many times their employees.
Yeah, right.
So it's a tremendous thing to say, hey, you know, we're in the top 50 for great communities.
And this is something you have to spend money on. I mean, when they come to you and say you're number 38 out of 50 in the entire country, that's freebie.
It is. It's great.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about this. We haven't been on in over a month, so I want to get caught up on certain different things. Your service and clerical workers, you've ironed out their contracts, and they'll get a small raise, correct?
Right. That's our AFSCME units, and both clerical and our service. So we are really happy that the negotiations went so well. They will be getting 3% for this year and then the following 2 years.
And you do this on, when I say this, there's other unions. Do you do that on a rotating basis?
Oh, yes, we do. I believe that we're going to try to consolidate here, though, in a few years. For certain reasons, like health care, it's a little bit easier to manage. But we have, let me think, we have 5 unions and 8 bargaining units. So it's quite a...
Yeah, you can tighten that up. It wouldn't seem like you're doing it all the time then,
right.
If it's going around the...
Yeah, because we're in constant negotiations, and we work really, really well with our unions. I'm very proud of that. And
as long as you've been here, I don't recall any, I'm sure behind the doors there's some back and forth going on, but there's never been this threat of strike or any of that sort of thing over the years.
No, I think that we work really, really well together. I believe that they appreciate Twinsburg as an employer and a great place to work, and we certainly appreciate what they do for the city. We have a tremendous employee base.
Okay. I had this wrong, but let's get into something new now. Liberty Sidewalks, there's going to be actually new installation. I kept thinking it was some kind of repair work.
Right.
Can you explain where it is and what will be done and how it's being paid for?
Okay. Well, as you know, that there's I believe it's a multi-purpose trail actually in Solon at the Solon border, and our plans are to meet up with that trail so that people can walk from Liberty Park all the way to the Solon border, bike, whatever, and connect into it.
Currently, they can't do that.
Well, not unless you're in the road, right?
Yeah.
So we want to, make a nice path, and then eventually also work our way back from Post Road, where Liberty Park basically ends on the northern side, all the way to our parking lot where the ball fields are, and then take that out to Cannon Road. So there is an overall plan to connect all of those sidewalks and all those paths, and we are working on it.
Do you think that's something that the residents may not be aware of, the fact that although it appears that Liberty Park was done and they see a lot of activity, that sort of thing, that work does continue behind the scenes on things they may not see as far as connectivity and other things?
Oh, absolutely. Right now we're looking at upgrades to the dog park that is in Liberty Park. We're also looking at some upgrades around the concession stand and some other things that we want to get done. Certainly we're going to be planting some trees. We need some shade up there. It's an ongoing project. It'll go on probably forever.
And also behind the scenes, you still have, you brought it up before, with Summit County. There's always ongoing projects with them. And where do we sit on the nature center, that sort of thing?
They are working on the plans. They're working through with their architects right now. And if things go as planned, I believe that we will be bringing that plan forward to our planning commission sometime in the fall. So again, another great project.
Yeah, refresh everyone's memory. This is going to be quite a facility.
It will be a really nice facility. It's not going to be grandiose, but it'll certainly be a facility where we can bring children in, bring their classes in, and we'll have an outdoor laboratory, if you will, so that they can, when they talk about nature, be right out in nature. So there'll be pavilions and some classrooms.
So it should be nice when it's all set.
It will be.
Again, that's another partnership / collaboration with Summit County.
One of our benefits of being a partner with Summit County Metro Parks, yes.
Okay. Let me move on then to, let's do a couple quick things that are coming up here. September 7th, we always talk about this, the doggy paddle is the closing of the pool gets closer and closer, but it's always popular.
It is very popular. Saturday, September 7th.
10 to 2, by the way.
Right. We invite you to bring your dog up and let them take a final dip, their one and only dip for the year in the pool. But it's a great way to close the pool for the year, and everybody loves it.
Let me get into a couple of the other things that went up. And I talked to Jim Fisher about the stormwater problems they had because it's been such a rainy summer. Have you taken a hit as far as pool membership or pool, people going because of the weather, or a lot of other things that the rain affects, your golf course? That
yeah,
sort of thing?
Well, the golf course play has been slow this summer. There's no doubt about that. We were down a few percentage points as far as our revenue, but I believe that we're doing a nice recovery right now with this warmer weather and dry weather that we're having. Of course, we have a project going on there. We're doing the cart paths, and
so where are you on that? I know you do. What, the front 9, back 9, or where?
We're doing the back 9 right now. Front 9 were done a few years ago. So we're doing the back 9, and it's coming along great. We're putting on the final coat of asphalt, so we're past the worst part of it. But, you know, that did cause some disruption in play, but it's going to be a beautiful project when we're done. So while the numbers were down a little bit when it was rainy, I think we're making up some of it right now. Same thing for the pool. Most of our membership are summer memberships. They're seasonal
so
memberships.
They pay no matter
right,
what the weather is
right.
like.
And, you know, if it's rainy during the day and it clears up at night, they come enjoy the evening then. So it's been great. I really think that they do a good job.
How is the golf course? I mean, there's another thing that, again, you were getting publicity because I forget which golf magazine comes out and always rates your course very high. I'm sure that may come around again. But how much of the revenue is derived from the boosters is having their annual outing type thing versus money made from let you and I go golf today? Do they do a decent job as far as
we do a great outing business.
Okay.
There is no doubt about it. We have lots of outings there, but we always try to balance it because if you have too many outings, then you don't have enough open tee times,
right.
And we certainly want our residents to be able to get on and play. So it's a balancing act. We try to keep that.
Is Brian still there, or who's in charge of
Brian Menard is there, and Jim Roberts is our groundskeeper. So they do a really good job of publicizing the course and having some special deals now. I think it's much more client-oriented, and there are a lot more specials and things going on for residents.
Okay. Something else that you guys always have every year is Rock the Park, and we had a list of everybody that was on, here this year. I know Michael Stanley's going to be
coming back
again. What kind of attendance did you have with that this year? Because you had a lot of different variety, and you had a country night, you had a ballet, you had Queens, cover band, that sort of thing. Good variety.
We had a great variety, and Cleveland Orchestra, I think, Symphony Orchestra, I think, was our highest one, somewhere around
really?
1,000.
Okay.
Yes, and that also where there were fireworks. It was a family night out.
Yeah.
It was very reasonable. It was a great evening. That was our highest attendance. Other than that, I believe we're averaging about 700 for overall.
And what was Michael Stanley last year? Do you remember
Michael Stanley was 1,500. And the way tickets are selling out, I think we're going to get up there
What's
again.
the date on that?
September 7th.
Oh, so that's coming up too.
Right. And Jonah Coslin is coming back to be reunited with Michael Stanley on stage. So this is going to be a big night. Very exciting.
Yeah, they haven't played together in ages.
Ages. So it should be really good.
Okay. One other quick one before we get it. And I want you to, maybe you can explain what happened here. There was a gentleman that came to your meeting who questioned the budget and some figures. And Karen House said, yes, there were some that were incorrect. However, she explained, it sounded like she didn't move something over. Has that been all corrected? And was it a big deal?
No, it absolutely was not a big deal. This had to do with our tax budget, and they're certifying the millage that's put on our residents' tax duplicate. So those figures were all correct. It didn't affect how much money we were collecting. What she did not do was update some of our funds, but she has till the end of the year to do that. That did not have to be done at that time. So she did update them,
but even if she
the
would,
final
and
figures.
believe me, because I know how sharp she is, even if she wouldn't have done that, there's enough checks and balances when it moves on to Summit County that it would have been picked up there, correct?
Well, you know what? They wouldn't have even probably looked at that. They were looking at the certification of the tax millage, and that's really what that was about. That was backup documentation that she sent with it, and as I said, that's updated at the end of the year again.
So there was never a time where we're getting shorted on tax revenue,
no.
that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
not at
I mean,
all.
Good that this guy brought it out, but still good for her to admit that I didn't move something over. But it's all set.
Oh, definitely. And you know Karen.
Yeah.
As soon as she is like such a stickler for being accurate that immediately she said, oh yeah, she made the change, and that was
okay. Time for our break. Let's go look at the meetings, and Kathy and I will be right back. It's Kathy Prokop, who is sitting in for the Twinsburg Mayor's Report. And just a reminder that Kathy is not up for re-election. I had to which I'm sure you're glad, which means we will continue to do the Twinsburg Mayor's Report right through election time because she's not up, so we don't have that to worry about. Let's talk about this American Traveling Tribute. I know this is a big deal, and this is not something that's happening overnight. Can you go through again what that is, the fact that we're still looking for some more sponsors, and you got a big 5K run coming?
We do. Yes, it's the Cause of Freedom Memorial Tribute, and it's brought here by our local VFW. We're really excited about it. Just to bring the tribute here to the city of Twinsburg is $15,000, and that money we have already secured, or I should say the VFW has.
Before you go any further, when you say bring it here, is this along the same lines, for example, of the traveling Vietnam
It's similar.
wall? It's just a smaller scale, but it's still huge, correct?
Well, it's much bigger than the traveling Vietnam wall.
Okay.
This is a tribute to all the wars and also to first responders. So there are a lot of different pieces to this
So it's
event that we're having. Oh, it is.
Okay.
Absolutely. In fact, the earliest the VFW applied for the memorial to come to the city of Twinsburg, they had to wait 2 years.
You have to get on a list.
You have to get on a list, and it can't be within so many miles or within a certain time frame from somebody else doing it in your area. So the closest we could get it was July of 2015 over the 4th of July weekend, which is awesome.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect. So the initial $15,000 to bring it here has been raised, but they will need approximately another $20,000, maybe even more than that, to actually take care of everything that goes with it. It's going to be like a big festival. You have to get rent the porta potties, and you have to have tents, and there's landscaping issues and setup issues. So it's going to take a lot of volunteer work, a lot of fundraising. Again, you mentioned it that we're going to have a 5K, and this is really exciting. Some of our sponsorships are over. We've totaled over $4,500 for sponsorships for this event, but we're still looking for sponsors. Gold level sponsor is $500, but you get a certain amount of entries into the race with that.
Well, Cable 9's a sponsor, just so you know.
I know. Thank you. No, we're happy. Thank you very much. But again, it's a 5K race or a 1-mile walk, so we can have children walk. If you don't want to run, you can walk. And it's just going to be an amazing event to raise money to bring this tribute to the city of Twinsburg. So I hope all you runners out there and walkers come on out and join us.
Again, it's a Saturday, September 14th.
That's right. You can register online. If you go to mytwinsburg.com under Parks and Recreation and you go to programs, you will get to the registration.
Okay. Now, have you found this is very dear to these VFW people, but a lot of them are not young in age. Have they volunteered left and right to get this thing here? I mean, there's a lot of work behind the scenes.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes, but I have to say that we have a group of people at City Hall that are really putting a lot into this on their own spare time. Angel Keith, Shannon Collins, Mark Gutowski, Adele Nykaza, and I'm sure that there's many, many more. But that's kind of the core group. They're putting together this whole Freedom 5K and Memorial Mile big event. Derek Schroeder has helped with it. And again, they're doing this on their free time, helping out the VFW. These are the same group that they were knitting the scarves to raise money, just doing anything and everything, bake sales to raise money.
Now, when they bring this in, is there a group that knows how to put this together, or do they just give you, here's the pieces and parts and go?
Well, members of the VFW committee just traveled to another city.
So they've seen how it's
done. They went out there and they observed everything, talked to people how it was done, and they'll be having many more meetings about this before they actually bring it here because it is a big, big project.
Okay. But I mean, putting you on the spot here, we're not going to go through because I don't have it in front of me either. A big election coming again, not mayor, but you have different councils, school board, etc. Can you speak to any of the issues? Approximately how many issues will be on the ballot this coming?
We have 2 rezoning issues, and those are both have to do with an area in Twinsburg to rezone it to, let me think, from industrial to commercial. So those are our 2 zoning issues.
Where are those areas?
It's right off of Route 91, and it was the Mount Olivet property.
Oh, yeah.
So it's south of Cleveland Clinic.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful area. Mosswood Lane is over there.
That's where they were talking about a shopping complex way back when.
Way back when it was a shopping complex. Now they're talking about doing a senior residence in that area. great plans, but there are a couple of rezoning issues.
Speaking of senior residents, how's the end of Highland Road
Heartland.
going? Heartland going.
Looks like it's coming up very nicely, very quickly, and should be done. I would imagine it looks like it'll be done at the beginning of the year.
Okay. Let me talk to you a little bit about the Laurel Trail project real quick, and it's going to be completed by the last week of September.
Laurel Trail will be starting last week.
Starting, I'm sorry.
Right. This project will go through the winter and probably finish up sometime in the spring. And again, we're connecting the Chamberlain Road residents, Sharonbrook residents, Lake Platter residents, and giving them a way to either hike or bike over to Heritage Hills, down to the library, the schools, the parks. And they've been a little bit isolated over there without any connections. So this will be their opportunity.
There weren't sidewalks there for a long time.
No sidewalks, and we still have some areas that we have to fill in with sidewalks.
So that will begin, though, the end of September.
Right.
Okay. You talked about the golf paths. Can you tell us about the tree canopy grant?
Oh, okay. We did. We applied for money from a tree canopy grant, which is exactly what it is, planting new trees so that we have a nice canopy of trees in the city. And we'll be doing a couple things with that. There's some diseased ash trees at the golf course, so some of that money will go to replace the diseased ash trees. Some of the money.
Some different species, correct?
Oh, yes, yes, something different, definitely. We'll be putting in some shade trees at Liberty Park, especially around the pavilions and the ball fields. And then we have our regular tree planting program for the year. About 129 trees will be planted, some of them in the fall, some in the spring, depending on their species.
So that's kind of an ongoing every year type deal.
It is.
Okay. Let's get into roads now. For quite a while, at least through most of the summer, the Route 91 and Creekside intersection actually moves a lot smoother than I expected. Is that complete now, or is there cosmetic things that need to be done? And have you had any feedback from people saying it's much easier to get in and out and turn and everything else over there?
Oh, it's amazing. It has made such a difference, especially going south. But the traffic is really flowing well, and of course it's a lot safer than it was before, so I'm very, very pleased with that project. I know I talked to Dean Moen at the Chamber Luncheon that we went to the other day, and they're very excited at Kent State about the improvement at that intersection, so it's working out really well.
Which is good. As we're taping this, I think they're starting up again over there, so it'd be nice to test how that works out.
Definitely.
And the lights are all signalized?
Everything's good. We have some water, a little bit of flooding issues under the bridge yet, so we have some adjustments that we're going to be making in that area yet. Nothing major like that, of course.
Okay.
So there's some fine-tuning that we're doing, but it's pretty much good to go.
And the four corners with the different cities, that intersection I've been on down there, that's done. But get us into Shepard Road, because I know you're doing some work on Shepard Road along with Macedonia.
Right. That was 80% funding from AMATS. And we're working in conjunction with Macedonia. As you know, that road really needed the repavement project.
Probably the worst spot that I can think of, bumpy-wise. Now, is that from that brand-new intersection up to the bridge? Is that where it's going on,
yes,
Shepard Road?
Yes, that's exactly where it's going to be. And the intersection, the Macedonia side, still needs some work, as you can see. The three other sides are done, so we're hoping that Macedonia will put that in their capital projects.
I know they talked about it at their last council meeting because I heard that, so I think it's on the docket.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think that would really make that project, finish it out and make it look nice.
Okay. This is big, and we talked about this a couple of years ago, and this is what happens when you compromise, ladies and gentlemen. You had a lawsuit brought to you by the people that wanted to build houses on the old Corbett farm property. You butted heads, you went to court, that sort of thing, and then suddenly the city bent a little, they bent, and now as of probably tomorrow, as of this taping, you're going to settle that. Is that correct?
Yes, hopefully.
And that's going to be a big back burner item.
Oh my gosh, it's been 3-4 years that we've been working on this. And the end result is they're going to comply with our zoning regulations, and they will only build 96 homes, which was the crux of the matter.
Right.
So they will build 96 homes. We did allow them some variances in lot sizes. Some backyard variances, a few feet here, a few feet there.
Again, but the real problem with the city was a density issue. And originally they wanted how many in there? Lots.
Oh my gosh, it was
300?
Yeah, it was over 200.
Yeah.
So this is the best thing that we can possibly do, is get this lawsuit completed so they don't spend any money, and certainly so the city doesn't have to spend any money on legal fees, any more money, and get the project going.
And it can move forward.
And it can move forward.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, it's been a while. Couple last things. Let's get this in, or Chief Noga's going to kill me.
Oh, that's right.
Talk about the big scouting issue? Or
Oh, yeah. There is going to be a scouting day in Twinsburg. It's going to be on the Township Square, right in the middle of town. It's for kids of all ages, September 7th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And again, it's on the square. That's a Saturday. It sounds like there's going to be lots of things going on. They're going to be talking about outdoor adventure, and they're going to have actual displays and demonstrations, pioneering, Lego Derby, camp skills. So if you are interested at all, your child's interested in scouting, this would be a great time to come out, talk to scouts, see what they're doing, and find out about the program. Saturday, September 7th.
And Chief said for more information, contact him. I'm assuming it's the non-emergency line
I would assume, yes.
at the police station if you do get a hold of the Chief and plug this. We got a lot of things going on September 7th, so
from the dog, you can take your dog to the swim meet in the morning and then head over here for camping.
Tell us about 50th anniversary of the Women's Club. I have them, or the Garden Club. I had some of them on because they have a big flower show coming up at Twinsburg Library, which we're plugging on our news this week. But they finished a barn quilt. Do you want to
yes, that was actually the Twinsburg Historical Society,
but
which is also having their 50th anniversary. Both of them are. And you will notice when you go on Route 91 and look at the barn that there's this red, yellow, and blue barn quilt. They're made out of wood. I believe they're over 300 pounds, I was told. Each one of those squares is painted by some resident in the town. They have all the squares marked on who painted what square, and that's in their records. That will be there to document everything that was done. There are lots of these barn quilts across the country, and quite a few in Ohio. I think this is only the second or third, though, in Summit County. And there's a book, so you can do a tour of these barn quilts, so we're pleased to be included in that. And they did an awesome job. The reason they have the 50 there is to, of course, celebrate their 50th anniversary.
Okay. One last thing I do want to bring up. Just because I saw an article, the city has not, as far as I know, made any decision on the old school that used to house the Kent State.
Well, we don't have a decision yet, but we certainly are hoping for a decision. As you know, after Kent State vacated the building last year for their new facility, we had to start making some tough decisions on what we were going to do with that building. But we had been researching it at least 3, 4, or 5 years. And we had a feasibility study done for the perambulator museum that we talked about many times, tray museum for little shops and things like that. And after we did that, we did a feasibility study on what it would cost to renovate the building, and renovation costs are $4 to $8 million. We have the original plumbing, electrical. There's no air conditioning. It's not ADA compliant. I mean, the issues just go on and on and on. The building, the lintels are rusting out around the windows, so there's settlement in the building, and we're getting structural cracks. So that's why $4 to $8 million.
And I'm only speaking from past experience with Macedonia Elementary School, which they let sit there. Then the roof caved in, and it was full of rats and everything else. So you can't just let it sit there and think someone's going to do a bake sale and pay for it.
No.
And the people that were in there, as far as the Twinsburg acting group, they got moved to the...
they're moved to a new location on Ravenna Road, and we've just started moving everything over there that they'll need for the Twinsburg Youth Theater. The Historical Society, we spoke to them about the building. They gave us a list of things that they wanted saved from the building. We've already removed those items to make sure that they're preserved.
So work is being done, but it's just a matter of time, probably.
It's a matter of time, but I really believe that we're going to have to demo that building so that we can move forward with some progress in that area.
And keep it safe.
Yes.
All right, we're done. Thanks for coming back. Hope you enjoyed your month off. We'll see you again next month.